Welcome to Manhwa Mango. Today, we're kicking off the story of the cocky, unbeatable top player who's about to face the ultimate fall from glory. Get ready for insane battles, jaw-dropping twists, and one of the wildest in manhwa history. Stick around, it's gonna be epic. Now, let's dive in. Under the glow of city lights, a lone figure sits surrounded by high-tech screens in a lavish high-rise. Holding the rare golden plate armor, he smirked confidently. "I'm so awesome," he proclaimed, proud of owning the only one in the entire server. The armor, a symbol of his unmatched dominance in the gaming world, gleams on the screen as he basks in his triumph. The man bursts into manic laughter, ecstatic over the golden armor on his phone. "The golden armor," he shouts, his excitement spiraling into uncontrollable glee. His wild movements cause him to stumble and crash into his equipment, sending his limited edition phone flying. Panicking, he picks it up to find the screen cracked. After a brief moment of dismay, he brushes it off. "It's all right. I'll just use new ones," he says casually, his confidence undeterred. But as his phone vibrates with a new message, he pauses, curious about what's next. As night blanketed the city, a man lounged confidently, his cracked phone flashing a notification. "Pay back," smirking, he muttered, "He's always on time." Surrounded by luxury cars and monitors, he stretched. "Time to make some money," he declared, settling onto his bed. Opening the app Lucid Adventure, he grinned. In that world, I'm the best. With a tap, his journey into the virtual world began. Amidst a sprawling city of towering spires, a lone figure steps forward, his golden armor blazing with power, his fiery red hair flowing like flames. Each step echoes authority, the ground seeming to bow beneath him. Onlookers freeze, their whispers filled with awe and fear. He declares, his voice carrying unmatched confidence. He doesn't need to finish, the world knows who he is. The legend of Lucid Adventure, the ultimate warrior, has arrived, ready to dominate all who stand in his way. Hardcore leveling warrior strolls into the city square, his golden armor gleaming and his fiery red hair catching every eye. As he hums casually about a quest, the crowd erupts in anger. "It's that bastard!" They shout, recounting tales of his chaos-stealing mobs, blocking roads and ruining their quests. Unbothered, he smirks, taunting, "Bastards, you'll penetrate my armor with those stairs." His playful arrogance and unmatched reputation as rank 1 leave the crowd seething, unable to touch the untouchable legend. Hardcore leveling warrior prances through the city square, shouting, "You should be more jealous." As his golden armor sparkles, drawing mixed reactions from the crowd. Amidst the chaos, a low-level player, level 3 chocolate potato soup, timidly approaches, eyes wide with admiration. "Go-Sunim," the young player pleads, hands clasped. "Please give me 10 gold. The scene humorously contrasts the warrior's flamboyance with the innocence of the small adventurer. The square falls silent as the young player's plea stuns the crowd. "He asked that devil for money," someone whispers in disbelief, pitying the naive adventurer. Hardcore leveling warrior stands still, his face unreadable. 10 gold, 10 gold, ha!" He mutters, his tone calm yet ominous. The tension builds as everyone waits, unsure if he'll mock, crush, or surprise the bold newcomer. Hardcore leveling warrior smirks and pulls out a glowing pouch, revealing an astonishing 10,000 gold. The crowd gasps, stunned by the sheer wealth. "1,000 gold, isn't it?" someone exclaims, their disbelief echoing through the square. Known for chaos and unpredictability, the warrior shocks everyone with this grant. The young player beams with joy, exclaiming, "Thank you," as they clutch the gold. But the moment turns dark as hardcore leveling warrior snarls, "I f***ing hate begging noobs the most," and delivers a devastating critical strike, obliterating the newbie with 9,999 damage. The crowd gasps in horror. "He killed the noob," someone stammers. The brutal act leaves everyone stunned. Chaos erupts as the guard NPC rushes in to arrest hardcore leveling warrior for the public PK. It's a PK. Players shout, but the warrior calmly tosses a 1,000 gold bribe to the guard, halting him in his tracks. The crowd gasps, "He bought him out," someone exclaims, frustration mounting. As the warrior walks away unscathed, a player clenches their fists and vows, "Someday, I'll get him." His untouchable reputation as a cunning menace remains unshaken. In a quirky guest house, Lone Shark Hearthitter confronts hardcore leveling warrior about his 20 million debt. Confident in his abilities, the warrior dismisses the concern, flaunting his golden armor bought with borrowed money. Hearthitter, unfazed, shows a board of severed idiot's fingers, warning of the price of unpaid debts. The warrior, undeterred, signs another contract for a new quest, boldly declaring, "I'm the best hardcore leveling warrior," setting up his next adventure with audacious confidence. Hardcore leveling warrior snaps, "Just give me the damn quest," his impatience cutting through the tension. Hearthitter smirks, unfazed, signing without reading. "You've got guts," he mocks. With a sly grin, Hearthitter reveals it's an SS grade quest. The reward is 40 million gold. The stakes are clear, a near impossible challenge with an equally massive reward. The reward for the quest is revealed, a staggering 20 million in real money. Hardcore leveling warrior arrives in an icy wasteland, facing a massive, menacing Emugia creature terrorizing traders, as per the King of Kobold's request. Gripping his weapon, he smirks, "Traders, how funny. But this must be a special Emugi." Undeterred by the beast's size, the hardcore leveling warrior charges straight into the jaws of danger, facing the venomous dragon head-on. The beast roars, its deadly poison filling the air, taunting him with certain death. But instead of fear, the warrior smirks, blazing with unshakable confidence. "What the hell is this snake babbling about?" He sneers, his defiance cutting through the chaos like a blade. With precise slash, he tears through the beast from within. The serpent writhes in agony, screeching, "My deadly poison, what is this?" Before collapsing into pieces, green venom spilling everywhere. Landing gracefully unscathed, hardcore leveling warrior surveys the carnage. "It's hella weak," he says with a sly grin, standing victorious amidst the remains of the monstrous foe. Hardcore leveling warrior cheers, "I beat it," ready to claim his reward. But his excitement turns to frustration as he realizes the quest isn't complete. "Why can't I press quest complete?" He growls, noticing the Emugi's green blood staining his precious armor. Furious, he shouts, "Do you know how much this armor is worth?" "It's 100 million, his anger flares. The hardcore leveling warrior admired his gleaming armor. "All the blood's gone, my armor's awesome," he gloated. Suddenly, a blinding light engulfed him, leaving him frozen in shock. Laughter erupted as a mob of enemies emerged. "Kawahaha, success," one bellowed. "We've been waiting for you to get tired." As the dust settled over a massive crater, someone whispered, "Is he dead?" Another growled, "Idiot," all eyes fixed on the void, waiting for their formidable foe to reappear. The guild leader shouted in disbelief, "We hit him with 20 chain spells. No one survives that." But as the smoke cleared, hardcore leveling warrior stood tall, his golden armor gleaming. With a calm but deadly tone, he unleashed his ultimate spell, Hellfire, a roaring inferno that obliterated the enemy's front line in a fiery wave. Panic erupted among the guild. "That's a wizard's skill. What is his class?" The leader yelled as chaos unfolded. Desperate, he commanded, "Attack, pour everything into him." Some charged, others hesitated, but their resolve faltered. The hardcore leveling warrior emerges from the chaos, his golden armor pristine and his fiery red eyes piercing. He declares with chilling dominance, the best hardcore leveling warrior, the only user with all stats. Glaring at his enemies, he growls, "You noobs, you dare dirty my armor?" The battlefield erupts as waves of attackers rush at hardcore leveling warrior, weapons and spells flying. Yet, with an air of indifference, he dodges everything effortlessly. Blades miss, arrows veer, and magic fizzles out before touching him. His golden armor gleams, mocking their futile efforts, as he moves with calculated grace. Every missed strike fuels his smirk and their growing despair. Amid the chaos of the battlefield, Arrows and blades targeted hardcore leveling warrior. Crimson hair blazing, he summoned a massive blood-red blade that hummed with deadly energy. Crouching low, he whispered, "Itoryu." The warrior unleashed his ultimate move, slicing through the battlefield with overwhelming power. Enemies and weapons shattered instantly, their remains raining down in silence as the chaos settled. The warrior stood amidst a battlefield littered with fallen enemies, his golden armor gleaming. He sighed, planting his sword into the ground. "So that's what it was, huh?" he muttered, sensing something amiss. His sharp eyes caught a faint ripple in the distance. Smirking, he muttered, "Annoying type of Imugi." The warrior stood amidst a field of fallen soldiers as the monstrous zombie dragon emerged, its fiery red scales radiating menace. So this is why the quest was SS grade. The red-haired warrior confidently dismisses a level 3 player, Chocolate Potato Soup, believing their attack to be futile. However, when the player's dagger unexpectedly cuts through his glove, drawing blood, the warrior is shocked. The player reveals a glitching, sinister smile, taunting him, "Did you really think?" The antagonist mocks hardcore leveling warrior, taunting his belief in being unbeatable. As red energy disables his movements, struggling to dodge, he struck hard and left blooded on the ground. He realizes his evasion and skills are useless. The antagonist coolly remarks that critical hits and evasion are just chance, mocking him for falling into his own overconfidence. The warrior, full of pride, demands, "Who are you?" His insult, "you," earns him a swift, brutal response. The mysterious woman grabs his head and unleashes a flurry of devastating blows, her strikes relentless and precise. Blooded and broken, the warrior gasps, "Why, me?" On the chaotic battlefield, the enemy smirked at the fallen hardcore leveling warrior. "You don't take damage because of your items, right?" "Take them off," she commanded, her voice dripping with mockery. One by one, his legendary gear, the golden plate suit, Night Lord's jeweled sword, and more disappeared, stripped away by the system's will. He sat stunned, vulnerable, and exposed. "My items," he stammered, his voice trembling. The invincible warrior was reduced to nothing. The red-haired warrior screams in rage and desperation, demanding, "Who the hell are you?" The mysterious woman slams him to the ground effortlessly, silencing him with authority. "Shut up for a second," she commands, her dominance uncheckable. Despite his threats to return and destroy her, she smirks, unfazed. "You'll find out who I am soon enough," she declares ominously. Standing over him, she delivers her final blow. "From now on, you'll search for me to the ends of the world." Broken and humiliated, the warrior cries out, "Give me my items back." As the sun sets, the mysterious woman mocks the defeated hardcore leveling warrior, claiming his items as hers. Smirking, she cryptically remarks about something awakening soon. Suddenly, a massive, grotesque dragon emerges, shaking the ground with its roar. Unfazed, the woman casually wishes him good luck and walks away, hinting ominously, "If you die once before vanishing, all your stats become 1, right?" and mockingly declares, "I'll make good use of your items." Furious, the warrior growls, "Damn it. I'll can kill." But before he can finish, a monstrous maw lunges forward, biting his head clean off. His body dissolves into pixels, the brutal and humiliating end of a once mighty champion. In Yuppie Land, the lively capital of the Eastern Kingdom, bustling with energy and excitement. In the heart of the market square, a crowd gathers, eagerly lining up for something special. Among them is a young woman with striking black hair and red eyes. She's finally returned, driven by one thought: her favorite food. The air is filled with the aroma of delicious treats, and as she approaches the line, her excitement builds. With her ticket reading 87, she's thrilled to hear the vendor call, "87th customer, the last one." As the young woman steps forward, a towering man in gleaming armor cuts in. "Excuse me, young lady, I traveled far for this," he says, offering a bag of coins to the vendor. Her excitement turns icy as she glares at him and coolly asks, "Do you want to die?" The towering man mocks her defiance, but she flicks a coin at his face, That's for the skewer and for me beating your ass. Before he can react, she delivers a devastating punch, the crack echoing as he stumbles in shock. What kind of strength? He gasps, but it's too late. She flips him effortlessly, slamming him to the ground. The towering man crashes to the ground with a deafening thud. The girl, victorious, clutches the grilled skewer, letting out a relieved phew. She smiles softly, savoring the long-awaited reward. I waited over a year for this, she murmurs, taking a triumphant bite. The girl savors the grilled skewer, her face lighting up with joy at every bite. Suddenly, the bustling crowd catches her attention. Noticing a commotion in the distance, she grips her skewer tightly and mutters, "Is there a fight?" The girl pushes through the crowd, curious about the commotion. Her eyes lock onto a red-haired figure and she freezes in shock. "That guy," she whispers, watching as he's held aloft by a monstrous hand. The marketplace hums with life as the girl enjoys her meal. Elsewhere, a red-haired man, with a smirk, he charges forward, fist drawn back, unleashing a powerful punch. The red-haired man faces a pink slime bunny. Confident in his victory, he swings wildly, but every punch misses. The annoyed bunny taps his hand, shattering his bones with a crack. Screaming as his HP plummets, he's thrown to the ground in pain, stunned by the bunny's unexpected power. The red-haired warrior lies defeated, staring at his stats once maxed out at 999, now reduced to humiliating oneself. Bitterly, he mutters, "Just yesterday, I was the best. Now I'm a complete noob." A chubby healer approaches, offering help. The warrior coldly rejects him, saying, "I don't need it. Get out of my sight." Undeterred, the healer smirks and leans closer, recognizing the fallen warrior. "Wait, are you possibly?" The tension builds as the healer connects the dots. The healer smirks, grabbing the warrior's face despite his protests. Pulling back the hood, he sneers, "So it was you," revealing the warrior's identity to a growing crowd. Laughter erupts as the once mighty hardcore leveling warrior glares, humiliated, surrounded by mockery and shame. "Keep healing him," he orders, ensuring the torment lasts. As healing magic surrounds him, hardcore leveling warrior begs, "If you're going to heal me, do it properly. Why bother if I'm tied up?" The healer sneers, "If you die, you log out." This is more fun. Kicks and punches rain down, each followed by healing to prolong his suffering. "You can't log out after just a few hits, right?" the healer mocks. Despite the pain, hardcore leveling warrior glares, silently vowing revenge. Collapsing under the weight of his torment, green healing light forces him to endure more. Desperate, he pleads, "Stop hitting me." Broken and humiliated, a sharp-dressed man approaches, his voice dripping with disdain. "Isn't it?" he remarks, surveying the chaos. With a sigh, he steps closer, towering over the defeated warrior. "I've heard the rough story," he says with a smirk. "You really hit rock bottom, huh?" he mocks, circling his fallen client. With disdain, Rim raises his hand, grabbing his neck. "The people I hate the most are idiots," he sneers, locking eyes with the warrior. "And you're the biggest idiot of them all." Hardcore leveling warrior faces Rima's wrath as he's reminded, game debt affects the real world, just as Rima prepares to strike again. Sora dashes in, her blade flashing as she lands a powerful attack, forcing Rima and his ally to retreat. "Who are you?" Rima demands, retreating under the figure's counter-strike. Green energy lights up the battlefield. Sora steps in as she shields hardcore leveling warrior with her blade. Confused, he stares up at her and asks, "Who are you?" The chapter flashes back to 1 year ago, where Sora is tied to a tree, feeling helpless and frustrated. Hardcore leveling warrior approaches her, his expression surprisingly kind and calm. He reassures her, explaining what went wrong in her adventure and offers her advice on how to improve. With a gentle demeanor, he cuts the rope and helps her down. Sora looks at him with newfound admiration, appreciating his guidance and kindness. This moment leaves a lasting impression on her, inspiring her to grow stronger and more capable. Sora and Rim face off in a heated battle, their weapons clashing as they unleash their skills against each other. The tension rises as both fighters push their limits, showcasing their strength and determination. However, the fight takes an unexpected turn when the imposing general enters the scene. Without hesitation, he joins the fray, turning their duel into a chaotic three-way fight. His overwhelming strength shifts the balance, forcing Sora and Rim to adjust their strategies amidst the chaos. Rim and Sora's intense duel is abruptly interrupted by the general's devastating attack, a strike so powerful it cleaves the building behind them in two. The shockwaves bring their fight to a standstill as the general prepares for a second attack. Before the general can unleash his next move, Hard Heater effortlessly intercepts it, deflecting the attack with nothing more than his notebook, leaving everyone stunned. The general, now enraged, channels his full power, preparing a third and ultimate strike at 100% of his strength. Instead of engaging, Hard Heater calmly decides to escape. He summons his massive blue pet, which swoops in with a commanding presence. Without hesitation, the beast scoops Hard Heater, Rim, and Sora into its mouth. As they ascend into the sky, Hard Heater casually waves at the general below. "See you around, General," he quips with a smirk. Hard Heater, along with Sora, hardcore leveling warrior, and Rim, flies away on his giant blue pet, leaving the chaos behind. They soon arrive at a secluded rocky hideout, where they're greeted by a cheerful puppy-like creature. Hard Heater, with his usual confidence, hints at a deal they simply cannot refuse. As they step inside the mysterious hideout, a voice from within asks, "Have they arrived?" Setting the stage for an intriguing turn of events, Hard Heater leads the group into a dimly lit chamber, where they are greeted by a young, confident figure seated in an ornate chair. The figure addresses hardcore leveling warrior directly, acknowledging his reputation and offering a chance to reclaim his former glory. With a commanding tone, the figure leans forward and delivers a single request, "Level me up." The room falls silent, marking the beginning of an unexpected alliance. Dark, seated confidently, offered hardcore leveling warrior a deal. "What do I get for helping?" he asked. Dark replied, "Money." "How much?" came the follow-up, Dark's sharp answer, 1 billion. Sora gasped in disbelief. 1 billion? That kid. Hardcore leveling warrior mocks Dark's billion offer, calling it too cheap and asserting his worth. Sora admires his confidence, calling him cool. When Hard Heater reminds him of his debt, hardcore leveling warrior promises to pay it back with interest and boldly offers to lose fingers if trust is an issue. Hard Heater questions him about a rumored sponsor, but hardcore leveling warrior dismisses it with a sly smirk, keeping his secrets intact. Hardcore leveling warrior gets a forced logout warning and informs the group he'll relog shortly. Dark calmly agrees, adding a cryptic warning, "Be careful," before hardcore leveling warrior vanishes in a bright light, leaving the others in suspense. The restrained character is thrown to the ground by a group working for Chairman Kim. They warn him he can't leave until he regains his levels for an important competition. Confined to a small room, he reflects bitterly on his situation, sarcastically considering if 1 billion won could buy his freedom. Reminiscing the past, on a rooftop, Gong Wonho is cornered by Lee Jeno and his men. Desperate to survive, Wonho pleads for his life. Jeno offers a contract forcing him to work in his workhouse to repay a large debt. Highlighting the potential of the game Lucid Adventure for profit, Jeno coerces Wonho into accepting the deal, sealing his fate under Geno's control. Back to present, Gong Wonho vents his anger about Chairman Kim, disturbing other debtors who reveal they're also playing Lucid Adventure. Realizing this, Gong sees an opportunity and asks for their in-game nicknames. Meanwhile, hardcore leveling warrior logs back in, surprising the group and signaling the next step in their journey. Dark asks hardcore leveling warrior if he'll take on the mission, hesitates, questioning the risks and Dark's ties to Chairman Kim. After denying any connection, Dark offers to negotiate. Hardcore leveling warrior demands an outrageous payment of 3 billion, which Dark surprisingly agrees to. The team prepares to depart, with Dark giving them 3 minutes to get ready. Sora, despite her initial shock, excitedly joins the mission. In the lively streets of Yobi Land, Dark confronted hardcore leveling warrior, his voice sharp with challenge. I've heard stories of your strength, but I don't take rumors at face value. Prove it, hardcore leveling warrior smirked, his crimson hair catching the sunlight. You want proof, fine, he didn't argue further. Instead, his gaze wandered through the bustling market, assessing his surroundings. That's when he noticed the green-haired fighter towering, intimidating, and oozing arrogance. Hardcore leveling warrior's eyes sharpened, marking the greenhead as his target. With calm confidence, hardcore leveling warrior began walking toward the greenhead, leaving an air of quiet tension in his wake. In Yopi Land, the green-haired guild member was enjoying a sandwich when hardcore leveling warrior slapped him on the back, sending his meal flying. Furious, the greenhead grabbed him by the collar, threatening to kill him on the spot despite being in the village. Unfazed, hardcore leveling warrior taunted him, drawing a crowd as the tension escalated. To avoid trouble with the guards, he proposed an official player-killing PK match to settle their differences. The greenhead, intrigued, agreed, and hardcore leveling warrior smirked, declaring, "Let's fight, staking whatever we desire." The challenge was on. The official PK match begins, drawing a crowd eager to witness the duel. The NPC of combat, Dakin, outlines the rules: no penalties for killing during the match, and each fighter must declare their stakes. The green-haired opponent demands HCLW delete his character and quit the game if he loses. HCLW, unfazed, counters by wagering for all of his opponent's stats if he wins. The crowd is stunned and the green-haired fighter protests, claiming such stakes aren't allowed. However, Dakin reveals that HCLW's unique class trait makes this possible, leaving everyone intrigued. The intense battle between hardcore leveling warrior and the green-headed guild leader rages on. The guild leader lands a devastating blow, sending hardcore leveling warrior flying. However, instead of finishing him off, the guild leader uses his healing abilities to keep him alive, ensuring he can continue to attack. Mocking hardcore leveling warrior for his low stats, the guild leader blames him for driving players out of the game with his ruthless tactics. Despite the brutal cycle of healing and relentless attacks, hardcore leveling warrior refuses to back down. With unwavering determination, he keeps fighting, turning the battle into a spectacle of endurance and sheer will. The crowd watches in awe, uncertain if he can prevail against such overwhelming odds. Green Onion Head vows to hit hardcore leveling warrior 100 times to release his anger, while spectators mock HCLW's weakened state and place baits against him. Green Onion Head lands a brutal strike, sending HCLW to the ground. Despite the taunts and his injuries, HCLW readies himself, determined to fight back against the overwhelming odds. HCLW barely dodges a powerful slash, shocking the crowd and proving his resilience despite his weakened state. Most spectators confidently bet on Green Onion Head, but one mysterious figure places a huge wager on HCLW, raising eyebrows. Green Onion Head presses on, landing his strike and taunting HCLW for his apparent weakness. Bruised and battered, HCLW steadies himself, watching for an opening. As Green Onion Head charges in for the final blow, HCLW strikes the heart emblem on Green Onion Head's forehead with his wooden dagger. The dagger's hidden ability activates, paralyzing Green Onion Head in his tracks. With the crowd in stunned silence, HCLW smirks and counts 100, marking his incredible comeback. Green Onion Head collapses, and the arena erupts in shock as the impossible underdog victory becomes a reality. Hardcore leveling warrior stands over the defeated Green Onion Head, silencing his muttered threats with a swift kick. A system announcement declares him the winner, leaving the crowd stunned. A pink-haired system administrator appears, congratulating him and announcing rewards for both him and those who bet on him. A glowing array of treasure chests materializes before him, but she warns, you can only pick one due to your low level. The scene shifts to the Imperial Castle in Yopi Land's central square. Grand General Tech confronts the aftermath of an assassination attempt, condemning the Empire for violating a truce. During his interrogation of a survivor, Tech effortlessly neutralizes a surprise attacker, showcasing his overwhelming strength. King Yopi arrives late, much to Tech's annoyance, bringing a lighter, mischievous tone. While Tech suspects the Empire is trying to restart a war, Yopi dismisses the idea, suggesting the attacks might be an attempt to stop the sprout before it grows. Yopi's cryptic words hint at a larger conspiracy, and he orders his advisor, Pu, to monitor the survivors closely. With a sly grin, Yopi remarks, I think this'll get interesting as the intrigue deepens. As the group traverses the purple-hued terrain, Dark reveals his grandfather is the chairman of Giga, the world's most powerful company. Shocked, Sora and HCLW react in disbelief. Dark explains his grandfather entered a coma after announcing he'd write his last will and testament in Lucid Adventure, and his consciousness remains active in the game. Their journey takes a serious turn as they approach a mysterious, ominous tower, ready for the challenges ahead. The group enters the dungeon of black magic, greeted by the eerie NPC Doyum, who explains the test requires 3 members. Dark steps forward confidently, joined by hardcore leveling warrior and Sora. While teasing each other, they prepare for the challenge, with Sora questioning HCLW's earlier stat acquisition, which he avoids answering. Outside, a masked figure observes them, reporting their arrival and preparing for his mission. The group enters the dungeon and is ambushed by a horde of grotesque monsters. Sora and HCLW fight fiercely, with Sora slashing enemies and HCLW aiming for the critical 100th hit of his sword. After an intense battle, HCLW lands the final blow, unleashing a devastating energy wave that wipes out the monsters. Among the carnage, a single talking monster begs for its life. Amused by its fear, HCLW spares it, leaving the group to prepare for the next challenge. The masked assassin reports to a superior, nervously explaining their delay in eliminating the adventurers due to the dungeon's protections and their fear of the undead. Meanwhile, hardcore leveling warrior, Dark, and Sora ascend the eerie dungeon staircase, with Dark complaining about the quest's difficulty. Despite their banter, the group remains determined. The assassin, watching from afar, struggles with their fear but vows to complete the mission. On the second floor, they face Borgova, a massive green beast controlled by a sinister puppet-like figure. The group dodges Borgova's fiery attacks, strategizing for a counterattack as the intense battle begins. Hardcore leveling warrior devises a strategy, instructing Dark to deliver the 100th and final strike to defeat Borgova. Despite his hesitation, he begins to find his confidence as the battle intensifies. Borgova's devastating attacks, including petrifying punches, force the team into evasive maneuvers. Meanwhile, HCLW faces setbacks with broken equipment, adding tension to the fight. Hardcore leveling warrior angrily criticizes his teammates for their lack of coordination, while they focus on dodging the monster's devastating attacks. In a bold move, hardcore leveling warrior's led caught by the attack, but delivers a counter-attack that gives Dark an opening for the critical blow together. They exploit Borgova's weak points, delivering a powerful, coordinated attack that brings the beast down. The witch, furious and desperate, attacks, but is swiftly overpowered by Sora's decisive strike. HCLW, injured, convinces Dark to heal him with a potion. The witch, tied up and vulnerable, is forced to reveal limited information about the third floor through HCLW's clever interrogation. The team learns of an archdevil awaiting them, their next challenge. As the chapter closes, the group regroups, preparing for the daunting battle ahead. A tense meeting unfolds between Kushum, a flamboyant black market merchant, and Sad Smile, the eerie lord of Cobalt Castle. Kushum presents a cursed artifact, a legendary sword radiating dark energy and part of a series of 39 created by the master blacksmith. Despite warnings of its dangerous curse, Sad Smile is unfazed and fascinated, clearly intent on harnessing its power. The atmosphere grows ominous as the sword's malevolent energy spreads, foreshadowing greater chaos. Kushim mockingly questions Sad Smile's fear of the curse, but Sad Smile remains eerily confident, setting the stage for darker developments. The team reaches the third-floor boss room, expecting to face the Archdevil. To their shock, they find the boss already defeated, its lifeless body on the ground. Confused and cautious, they speculate another player might be responsible. The group encounters the Archdevil, who mocks them and reveals he killed the summoner out of boredom. His immense power immediately intimidates HCLW, who realizes the Archdevil is far stronger than their previous opponent, Borgova. The Archdevil swiftly attacks HCLW, showcasing his speed and strength. Sora steps up to tank, rallying the team and instructing HCLW to use buffs. Amused by Sora's strength, the Archdevil taunts her, calling her suitable only as a sacrifice. The Archdevil mocks their efforts. Sora boldly strikes first, landing a hit, but the Archdevil easily brushes it off, rating her effort with a sarcastic 50 points. Despite the setback, the team remains determined. Sora switches tactics, using her Medusa's combat glove to petrify him, which works briefly. The Archdevil quickly breaks free and counters with a devastating blow, leaving Sora severely injured. Her teammates are shocked as their plan fails. In the midst of a stormy battlefield, the Archdevil kneels in defeat, admitting his loss. He begs for death, deeming it the only honorable end. However, his opponent, calm and confident, dismisses his plea, stating his horns of grudge hold more value than his life. Enraged, the Archdevil lunges in a final desperate act, only to be coldly subdued. With disdain, the victor taunts his failure, leaving him broken and humiliated, hinting at their paths crossing again in the future. The team faces the towering enemy, who mocks their weakness and declares this battle their last. HCLW draws his random sword, which hilariously transforms into a jelly-like bubbly sword. Surprisingly, the enemy reveals a weakness to cute objects, giving the group a comedic yet strategic advantage. While amused, they stay cautious, preparing for the next phase of the fight. Hardcore leveling warrior struggles to summon the Holy Sword, knowing it's their only chance to turn the tide. Meanwhile, the villain hurls a massive energy ball, radiating destructive power, aiming to end the battle. Dark, desperate to buy time, uses the Goblin King's pendant and transforms into a powerful golden figure. In a daring move, Dark intercepts the energy ball, deflecting it with his newfound strength. The blast is sent flying back, shocking the villain, who laughs in both surprise and amusement. The unexpected deflection forces the villain to momentarily shift focus, providing HCLW the precious seconds needed to prepare for the next phase of the battle. Dark, empowered by the Goblin King's buff, fiercely battles his opponent, deflecting blows but suffering heavy damage. As his strength wanes, he lands a surprise punch, momentarily stunning the enemy. However, the buff's timer ticks down, leaving Dark vulnerable. With seconds remaining, the enemy closes in, but a sudden flash of light interrupts the fight. Hardcore leveling warrior appears, wielding the radiant holy sword. "I drew it," he declares confidently. Dark, exhausted, mutters, "You're late." The holy sword's energy fills the battlefield, signaling a dramatic turn in the fight. The Archdevil, refusing to accept defeat, summons a powerful void magic spell, helsing and engulfing himself in blue flames. As he searches for HCLW, he miscalculates, looking above while HCLW sneaks behind him, wielding the legendary Holy Sword. Enhanced by angelic stats, HCLW dodges the Archdevil's energy blasts with ease. In a swift and decisive strike, HCLW clashes the Holy Sword against the void magic, creating a massive explosion. The battle concludes with the battleground in ruins, hinting at the end of their fierce battle. After the battle, HCLW and his team leaves the sealed Kababa's Holy Sword, a powerful weapon rendered unusable for 99 years. HCLW decides to leave it, explaining its limitations. A quest completion prompt appears, and the team levels up. Dark excitedly announces his class advancement to Black Magician, gaining new skills and a mysterious Summoner's Ring, which binds Archdevil as a powerful familiar to him. As Dark ponders his new abilities, the scene shifts to an ominous tower in a barren, toxic landscape, hinting at their next challenge. The assassin, piloting a massive mech, targets a dungeon tower, obliterating it with overwhelming firepower. Declaring, "If I can't enter, I'll destroy it." They survey the rubble, only to notice a mysterious glowing green orb. While investigating, a strange pink creature appears, confusing Rock. Before they can react, a green energy blade pierces the mech, catching them off guard. A calm voice commands, "Please stand back," as a powerful adversary emerges, signaling the beginning of an intense and unexpected battle. The tension rises as the assassin realizes they've underestimated this mysterious new foe. Lime, a level 100 supporter, protects Dark, HCLW, and Sora by creating a protective bubble and declaring them guests of King Yopi. She reveals she has already disabled the cyborg's weapons. Enraged, the cyborg attacks with a flame sword, but is easily overpowered as Lime traps and incapacitates him using her slime abilities, exploiting his mechanical weaknesses. After neutralizing the threat, Lime reassures the group and departs, leaving them impressed by her power and more curious about King Yopi's realm. The scene shifts to the Giga Empire's water capital Totoras. The vice president learns of the failed assassination attempt and berates general manager Kim Jong-suk for his incompetence. Despite Kim's pleas and apology, the vice president's secretary harshly criticizes him and suggests firing him. The vice president, acknowledging Yopi Land's interference, orders the formation of a diplomacy team to head there immediately, signaling escalating political tension and impending conflict. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe, and ring the bell for the next arc. And for more manhwa and manga content, got a favorite? Drop it in the comments. See you next time.